Welcome back to Ireland AM. In August of 2024, Marian Lovett passed away shortly after getting a diagnosis of breast cancer.
Her daughter is now campaigning for improvement in breast cancer screening. We're now joined by Martha Lovett Cullen. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. I suppose when it comes to something like breast cancer, there's been loads of education, loads of screening, loads of, I suppose, a drive for women to know what to look out for over the years. But with your mother, she basically fell between the cracks when it came to this. Can you tell us your story?
Yeah, so my mum never had any long-term health issues. She got her breast checks regularly when she turned 50 and never had any problems. And then after COVID in 2022, she went for her regular mammogram, came back clear, great news, you know, it's a relief to hear that. And then just, I think under a year later, she felt like there was maybe a bit of a lump or that something was off. So she went to see her GP to investigate, and she was kind of told, you know, maybe you should just wait another year. You have your next breast check next year, so you might as well just hang on. And she insisted on getting additional screening because she knew something was off. And when she got the additional tests, it turned out that there was a bit of a shadow there, and it was also the first time she was told that she had dense breast tissue, which was something she had never heard of before. And a few months after that, you know, she was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, just a year after getting the all clear. So it was quite a shock, and it kind of came out of nowhere. And going from a clear mammogram to having a terminal illness is just, yeah, something you can't really put words to.
And what was her prognosis like when she did eventually get the diagnosis? Were you hopeful that the cancer could be treated?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were under the impression we would have maybe 5 to 6 years, which is still very hard to hear. Especially when, you know, your mum is fit, healthy, you know, there's nothing that would have indicated there would have been any reason she would pass away prematurely. But yeah, we had a plan that it would be at least a few years. We'd be lucky to have that. But she only fought her illness for less than a year before she passed away.
I suppose when you have metastatic breast cancer and it is diagnosed so late and it's so aggressive, that's the issue, because early detection is key.
Yes.
And it does come to breast cancer. Now, when we're speaking about mammograms now, so I think it's important to do that. I know there's been massive pushes to decrease the age of screening for women, because as we know, more and more younger women are getting breast cancer now. But I suppose apart from a mammogram, you know how to self-check, but there are some shortfalls in it. It is an excellent screening programme, but for some people with dense breasts, and that's what the important issue that you're here to highlight, it is not as effective. So tell us about that and what that means.
So when my mum was told that she had very dense breast tissue, she didn't know what that was. And the more she looked into it, the more she found out that dense breast tissue can mask tumours or cancers on mammograms, because dense breast tissue appears as white on a mammogram the same way a tumour would. It's not information that is given out to women in Ireland. It's not part of the screening programme. And yeah, the more she looked into it, the more alarmed she was at the fact that 43% of the screening population in Ireland will have dense breasts, and 50% of cancers in women with dense breasts can be missed because of this masking effect, which was really shocking to hear. And yeah, it's not something to be alarmed about having dense breast tissue, but it's something that can only be found on a mammogram. It is a radiological finding, it's a visual finding, and yeah, we think that if my mum had been told she had dense breasts when she started getting her mammograms, she would have been aware of that.
And she might have got an ultrasound or something like that.
Exactly, which is much more effective for women with dense breasts.
I suppose it does depend on who your primary care practitioner as well, to even for them to have the knowledge of that. Because I know years ago I had found a lump, but I was told my GP told me you have dense breasts, so an ultrasound is the way to go. Lucky in that respect, but not everybody. As you said, like half the female population will almost have this.
Yes, absolutely, which is a very high statistic. But it is definitely about the information being out there, because it's not, you know, there haven't been any public awareness campaigns or anything about it as an issue. In America and in parts of Europe as well, women, like these countries, are required to tell women if they have dense breasts, and if you're told you have dense breasts when you start getting screened, you are brought back for additional screening just to make sure that there's nothing there or that they haven't missed anything. And yeah, my mum was very confused or just kind of frustrated as to why it's not done here.
Yeah, I hadn't heard this term dense breasts before. Had you heard it? Had your mum heard it actually before?
Never. We were never aware of what it was. But yeah, upon doing research, we came across a woman called Siobhan Freeney, who has been campaigning for about 10 years now, who's done amazing work around it. She had a similar situation to my mum, but pulled through her treatment, luckily. And she's a huge advocate for just awareness around it and spreading the word.
How far have you gone in your campaign so far? Are people listening to you?
Yeah, they are. So I launched a petition to mandate breast density reporting in Ireland for women just about, I think, 3 weeks ago, and it's gotten a huge response. We already have 7,000 or over 7,000 signatures, and women have reached out to me with similar stories to my mum's, or girls who have lost their mums to similar reasons. And it's just, yeah, it's just heartbreaking really to see how common it is and how much it could change stories if it was information that was given out.
And it's something that they are looking at doing now. I know we have a statement in from the department that they are going to look at the evidence for that, and it may be included in future, I suppose, documentation when it comes to breast check, which is very, very helpful.
It would be amazing. Yeah, that is what we want, just to have the information out there, because I think it's information we're entitled to about our own bodies, the same way you would be told if you had high blood pressure or high cholesterol. You know, you'd be aware of that and the risk factors, and you keep an eye out for it and look after yourself in that way. So I think if women were told that they had dense breasts and were aware of the additional screening processes they might need, it could just make such a huge difference. Absolutely. Like it would have to my mum.
Yeah, and well done for talking about this, Martha. But it is, of course, such a personal story to you. You might tell us a little bit about your mum and your relationship with her.
Yeah, I mean, she was an extraordinary person. She was so strong, really passionate, a huge lover of the arts. You know, she worked in the arts for such a long time in Ireland, helped to kind of shape the art scene. And you know, she was just the most selfless person I think I've ever known and will ever know. She lived for me and my brother, and you know, even when she was ill, she was adamant about fighting for it and that she was going to beat her cancer. You know, she kept healthy, she did everything she was supposed to do, and it was just unfortunate that, you know, she was taken too soon from us, and we just thought we would have had a bit more time with her. But she was an incredible woman, and we need more women like Marian Lovett in the world.
Yeah, when I suppose after the diagnosis and after realising that the mammogram and that system had failed for her, emotions must have been so high. Was she angry? Was there guilt involved with the family, or what way did you navigate that?
I think it was just, I mean, for me, it was just kind of the fear and figuring out next steps and how can we, you know, take this one day at a time and, you know, follow the treatment plans, do everything that we had to do. And for Mum especially, she, you know, she was incredibly intelligent and did all of her research and kept all of her notes and did everything that she had to do. But, you know, she was frustrated and she was upset and scared the same way we all were. And yeah, none of us were expecting for her to pass away so soon and so suddenly. So yeah, it's been a very surreal time. And still is.
So. It's not even a year.
No,
yet,
it's only been 7 months, and yeah, it feels like years, but it also feels like no time at all. So yeah, we just miss her.
Yeah, and of course your first Mother's Day without your mum coming up this weekend. Yeah. How are you doing, Martha?
It's hard to describe. I think it's obviously going to be a very difficult day for me and my family, but it's also because it's a reminder of the amazing woman that we lost, and you know, my mum loved Mother's Day, and yeah, it's just going to be extremely tough. But that's why I know my mum would want me to be talking about this. She would want me to be raising awareness and kind of fighting for her, because you know, she would be here doing it herself, or she would be here with me if she was still here. So yeah, just taking it one day at a time, and I have a great support network around me with my friends and my partners. So.
How has that changed the way you're going to view screening as well? I'm not sure if it was a genetic-based breast cancer or whatever. Do you know that?
No,
yet?
luckily it's not genetic. Like my mum never had any. There was no history of breast cancer in either side of my mum's family. So yeah, it was completely unexpected, but it is something I've become a lot more aware of in terms of my own health. And self-checking and just awareness and information and all that kind of stuff, and just being proactive and, you know, just, yeah, minding your own
And
health.
I suppose know what your own breasts feel like
Exactly.
in a monthly basis, because I know the advice is once a month on the same more or less time, check it and know what they actually are, because so many of us don't do it, like in the shower with some jar gel or whatever, just feel what's right and what's, so you'll be aware of what's more abnormal then.
Yeah, and if something feels off, just get it checked and ask someone about it, and kind of, you know, insist. If it's brushed off, you need to insist and kind of advocate for yourself, which was what my mum did, and I'm so glad that she did do that. But yeah, it definitely needs to be. Yeah.
Are there conversations you have now with your peers because of that? I mean, your kind of mission now, I suppose, is to honour your mother's legacy by campaigning and raising awareness in this way.
Yeah, everybody that I've spoken to, you know, women my age, they've been surprised at, you know, they've never heard of it before, or around the statistics around it, and so, but it's been amazing the response it's gotten, and how it's resonated with women, because again, it's an integral part of just our bodies and our health, and you know, it's for our moms, our sisters, our, you know, our friends, our colleagues, our daughters, just all the women in our lives who we need to look after.
I have to say, like, I hadn't heard about this before, so thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. Martha Lovett Cullen, thanks a million for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
After the break, stylist Laura Jordan will be giving us some top tips for decorating your house at Easter. We'll be back in a few minutes.